Will Turner, you want to start us off today?
Yeah, good morning, Coach. When you look at Tulane, their offense, obviously had a pretty good game against Oklahoma. They've fallen on some hard times, especially over these last two games. What do you see that stands out about the Green Waves offense and what they do?
They had a quarterback, you're right, first of the year, very, very hot. Getting the ball downfield a bit. They had some protection issues, might be why they changed the throwing philosophy a little bit. Talented running backs, 22, really can create a play. They do a great job of bouncing it out. We had a couple issues last week defending the sideline, some of those cracks, replacing him. So I'm sure, they're on that tape. They're going to try to run the ball. They think that's their strength for sure, but quarterback's talented. They got T's a receiver that can kind of take the top off. They got number 2 is the go-to guy. Leading receiver's the tight end. So we'll probably see more tight end passing game than we've seen all year. Just a big body that can kind of shield you out. Obviously they want to be balanced, but they do a good job of pulling linemen and trying to get some gap schemes on and get you outnumbered.
And, for y'all, obviously, we've talked all season about the injuries on the back end with the whole next man up mentality. I thought it was Isaiah Cromartie played a big role or has played a big role at the safety spot with Matt Hill being injured. What have you seen from a guy like that who's had to play kind of maybe unexpected?
Yeah, just goes to show you that's a walk-on kid that kind of been in the program for a while and, got his first college start and played 80-something snaps, the entire game. Another kid that can go in there and do his best. And, they got a couple of things on him. Picked on him a little bit, but, he stood his own. Just glad he's here. I'm glad he was here to be able to help us out. Knows his assignments. There's really no mental bust with him. It's just got to be so just finish plays. But yeah, I'm glad he's here. I'm sure it was a highlight of his career, and glad he went out and did his best.
And then, you guys last year, obviously with having as many folks out, had to adjust the way you guys practiced. Coach said yesterday that, you've been able to run a full scout team. Just when you look at that, just how beneficial is it for you guys to be able to run that full scout team this year when you might not have been able to last year, just to be able to keep guys, the guys that are still in fresh and be able to get the as many good looks as possible?
Yeah, if you're kind of full strength, this is what they had to pull up. Look up for our scout wide receivers, to the other field. So we were down some of those wideouts. And offensive linemen, there's about 6 or 7 guys that rotate in, so it's not 2 full offensive lines. So you got to be smart. You want to go fast pace as much as you can, but those guys go the entire practice. They'll have 50-something snaps against our defense, and a lot of those guys don't have substitutes. So yeah, it's a full scout team, but there's not a lot of. I've been around where you had 2 full scout teams you could run, and we're not there yet. But it just goes to tell you, those guys, you're talking about unsung heroes and guys that are committed and just show up every day knowing they're not going to play on Saturday. Most of them don't even dress. But they go out there and try to have as much fun with it as they can. And I try to take care of them the best I can too.
What are a few things that you want to see from your defense in these final 2 games?
Well, we got to be consistent in just some fundamentals of stopping the run game better. Cincinnati had a great tight ends and quarterback that can run. Christian hasn't played that much ball yet, so he's getting healthy now. And just a couple of things with eyes as far as his man cracks, he's got to replace. We've got to defend the sideline better. Cromartie, can't let the ball outside a couple of times. So it's here and there. It's a spot here and there. I had a lot of good plays. The explosive play at the end, that put a sour taste for everybody. Besides that, we had held to under 150 yards rushing. So that one really, got under me a little bit. It was 4 minutes, and we never won the ball, and then, a couple of guys missed tackles there. So we got to realize, play 80 is the same as play 4, play 1. You got to have the same intensity and juice and pursuit angles that you do every down. So I'm looking for some consistency. Play, that's by design. Just trying to scheme, call a game that gives us the best chance to win is what I'm doing with those guys that are out on the field.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Unmute myself. Richard Silva, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned him earlier, but when you're watching Michael Pratt on film, what's the biggest thing that jumps off to you?
Really live arm. It takes so tough. Go back to some previous games against SMU and Tulsa, and he's getting hit and scrambling twice against SMU. He goes down the slide after getting the first down, and it was a penalty, obvious penalty. I'm surprised he got up after one of them. So I respect him a lot for his just his toughness. He's not coming out. He's not tapping out. His high school teammates, Chris Townsend, over there. So Chris said the same thing about him. Quick release, you'll see that. He knows where to go with the ball. The ball comes out. And some issues they've had is protection-wise. With Tulsa with a 3-down front, those 3 guys they have, they were getting pressure with 3 and being able to drop 8. So, they had the advantage all day long. But he throws a good back shoulder ball too, so receivers blowing off line of scrimmage, and the timing's really good. Puts on the back shoulder. The receiver turns at the last minute. Very tough pass to cover. When they've been on time with that, that's been very dangerous. First of the year they were, I think they had an injury to a wideout, very productive wideout, but I don't know if he'll be back or not. Toughness, leadership, and a very, very strong arm that can rifle it in there in some of those deep digs.
Thank you.
Will Turner.
I keep meaning to ask about Chris Townsend. I feel like it's been 6 weeks, and he's like the one guy that I can never remember to ask about. Saw him against NC State, but haven't seen him since. I did see against Cincinnati, he had some sort of cast on his arm. Do you remember when he got hurt or what the injury is with him?
Yeah, he broke his wrist, so he's in a cast. So he really wasn't available really last week. Not sure how available he is for this week too. But before that, we had some good competition between him and Curry. They were kind of competing for that backup star position behind behind Vincent. So no, he's up on our field competing. And the first year it was one injury, and he comes back and he's competing for a spot, just like all of them are out there. And sure Chris will come back stronger than ever once he gets healthy again.
Gotcha. And then one more for me. We've seen you guys go towards more of a 4-man front here and there, trying to get some more speed on the field. Obviously, seen a lot of Tramel Logan at times. Some of the skinnier DNs that are able to get in there and cause some havoc. Talk about your philosophy in trying to go towards more of that 4-man front to get some more speed on the field.
Yeah, you say speed on the field, you have some backers that come up pretty good. So you're basically substituting a backer for a defensive lineman. It's just kind of what you feel every week's going to go in to stop them what they do the best, personnel-wise. We were able to do a couple of different things 2 weeks ago, and then so I think the advantage is we're giving enough looks at both. Tulane is trying to having to practice with. A lot of it's just kind of the success rate, right? What you're going with at the time, how it is against schematically, what they do. And then like Houston, we went to a 3-down and there in the third quarter and got off the field 4 series in a row. Just because we changed up some personnel and it was a surprise to them maybe. So you have both of them in your hip pocket. Down and distance plays into it a little bit also, and kind of what their tendency is to try to do, the type of run game they have versus each front. And a big part of this year has been injury-wise. About 11 that you have to work with, the best 11. What do you need to do to give you the best chance to win? Between both those schemes, that could change weekly based on who's available, and both packages. There really aren't any substitutions that could roll in there with either one of them. So there's a lot of factors that kind of go into that decision.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll get Coach Weis in. All right, we'll take questions for Coach Weis. Will, why don't you go ahead and get us started since you already queued up?
Yeah. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
You guys have really in that Cincinnati game, after going out and only putting together, I think 39 yards of offense, you really picked up the pace, picked up the what you guys did. What adjustments did you make in that game to have some success there?
Yeah, I think early in the game, we had come out and had the plan that we wanted to run the football, and obviously had some RPOs attached to some of those. And could have been in some better spots, and so they really made they made a big emphasis clearly to stop the run, going to our game, and did a really good job taking that away. And then we just weren't able to hit some of those throws in the first half to get them to loosen up the box a little bit. And change things up. And so in the second half, the bigger adjustment was just for us on some of our RPO game to be more emphasis on getting it thrown, making those throwing catches, which you saw on the completion to Jimmy for a touchdown. And then really just Timmy did such a good job on some of our third down stuff of hitting those digs to the field. That was something that we saw that we could get to. And then just obviously making plays happen with his legs as well.
On Jimmy's touchdown, that's just a simple crossing route over the middle, and he just you start to see that game-breaking speed. I think I saw that twice in that state championship game last year.
Yep.
For y'all, just how pleasing was it to finally be able to kind of see that game-breaking speed?
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, it's been so many times this year where we felt like he's been so close to being able to show that off on a slant route or over route or whatever it may be. And it was just great to finally see Timmy put the ball right on his front shoulder so he can catch that thing in stride and hit it. And it was just perfect timing, great throw, great catch. And then, obviously everybody got to see what he can do after that. So look forward to seeing more of that in the future. But it was just great for us. It's huge for our offense too, just to get, teams where, hey, you might have to play off on that guy, give you some easy throws. And if they want to come up and play tight to him, he's able to run away from him and go score.
Tulane gave up 61 to Ole Miss earlier in the year, but they've been very good defensively the last 2 weeks. What do you see from the Green Waves defense?
Yeah, I see Tulane has made kind of a little bit of emphasis to play more man coverage the last couple of weeks against UCF and who is it, Tulsa. So I think that change has been really good for them. It looks like they kind of simplified things. They played a little bit more cover 3 earlier in the year, and the more man that they've played later on has paid off for them. I think you see a defense that plays really hard. I think they've got some confidence right now, a lot of confidence after those last 2 games, holding UCF to 14 and Tulsa really at 13 in regulation. And so I see a team that plays really hard. They play man coverage on the corner. They're going to get in your face, impress you, and you're going to have to go win. And then up front, they're going to get an extra hat in the box to try to take away the run.
When I look at, the wide receiver group and kind of what they've done since you guys have gotten here, this was a unit that didn't, have very much production when you guys came in. Obviously, Xavier Weaver's probably going to end up with the most receiving yards by USF wide receiver in at least 3 or 4 seasons. And you've got Jimmy Horn, who's, at 325, kind of still over the leading receivers from years in past.
Right.
That's player development, right? When you look at all that, how much is that wide receiver?
Yeah, a tremendous amount. I think that's a huge credit to Coach Scott and Coach Bentley, who get to develop those guys and work with those guys every day. Obviously, Coach Scott being from Clemson's reputation as a receiver guy, you can clearly see the development in them. And then Coach Bentley coming along here, I think he's really brought Xavier Weaver along. I think he's brought Jimmy along, and they've just gotten much, much better. And even some of those other guys too. You see DeMarcus and OD making plays, Sean Atkins. So I think they've done a great job developing those guys and giving the quarterbacks more confidence to go to them each and every week. And I think those guys will continue to improve. And those guys got a lot of time remaining eligibility wise. So we're really fired up about them.
Last one for me. You want to see Holden Willis more of an X receiver as opposed to, and maybe push Dollison back to the slot in a perfect world?
Yeah, I think having Holden out there, it was really good to see him make some plays. And he's kind of a jack of all trades for us right now. So it's kind of week to week where we see that we need him according to the game plan. He's obviously got great length to be able to play outside, but he's very savvy in the slot. So it's kind of game plan to game plan what location we want to put him at. And so he's just a fun guy that we can have. And I'm looking forward to seeing him develop over these last couple of games and in the future. I think he's got a bright future ahead for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Richard, do you have any questions for Coach?
No, I think we'll covered everything I needed.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brian.
Recording stopped.